Excellent. So you decided to move forward with divorce and you filed the petition with the family law clerk. Let's get started. So what do you do now? Well, you have to serve your spouse. You've got to do it. There's no way around it. There's different ways to go about it. There's personal service. There's service by acknowledgement and receipt, which is by mail. And then there's service by publication and posting. I'll discuss those. So what is service? Service is the actual handing over of the legal documents, in this case the divorce, to your soon-to-be ex-partner. Once you do that, you fill out what's called the proof of service. That's a document. I'm going to include the name of it down below right now. A proof of service has the time, the date, the location where your spouse was served. Okay, so it's very important that that document is filed with the court and informs the court that your case has been served and gets the case going. It begins the process of the 6-month waiting period, also, which is a minimum time requirement in order for a divorce to be finalized. There's a 6-month waiting period in order to be divorced. Who can serve the paperwork is a very important question. Anybody over the age of 18 who is competent and not named in the lawsuit or in the divorce itself. So that means you can't serve it. You can't do it yourself. You got to get someone else to do it. Typically, you can get a friend. You can get a coworker. You can get a sheriff, local sheriff to do it. They charge about $35, or a professional process server, and they charge anywhere from $35 to $100 or even more, depending on how difficult it is to serve your spouse. You make sure that you talk to the clerk of the family law division to give you the directions as to how it is that the packet is to be served. Most clerks are friendly and would love to tell you what it is exactly that needs to be served. But typically it includes the petition, the summons, the UCCJEA declaration, the notice of case management conference, the confidential declaration that we discussed in episode 1. So you got to make sure you have those 5 documents along with a blank response to the petition, and I believe that's it. But make sure that you discuss it with the family law clerk to make sure there's no other forms that you're required to provide, as some courts require local forms to accompany your petition. In any event, the other way, if you and your partner or spouse are amicable, is to do it by mail. You have to mail it to that person, and they sign a document that says, it's called a notice of acknowledgement and receipt. It's a form. It's called the FL117 Form, and they sign it basically stating that they received the packet of documents, and then they mail that back to you, that form, and then you file that with the court. The other thing you want to do is, if you can't find your spouse, there's different ways to go about it. There's publication and posting service. Now that gets a little bit more complicated. I'm going to try to tackle it and dive into it right now, but you should definitely Google it online on a reputable website. The best option would be to your local Superior Court website and look at the instructions there. There's valuable information on the court's websites as to how to serve. So if, for example, you can't find your spouse, you haven't spoken to them for a long time, they took off to Mexico or China or Indonesia, and you haven't heard from them, and there's no way to get a hold of them, it's possible that you may be able to complete service by posting or publication. Now, in order to do so, you would need to fill out a declaration basically stating that you tried everything you could to locate this person and you can't find them. Okay, there's different ways to go about that, but the easiest way is to fill out Form FL117, which is the application for posting or publication. So real easy form, look it over, and it'll basically give you step by step what you need to do in order to qualify for publication or posting. What's the difference between the publication and posting? I'm glad you asked. The first one is that when you serve by publication, it is just as it sounds. You basically publish your summons at the local newspaper where your ex was last seen, where you last spoke to them. So if they were in Manteca, for example, you would publish the summons in the legal part of the newspaper in the Manteca Journal. I don't even know what it is, the Manteca Bee. I don't know what it is, but I'm just giving you an example. It's probably the more expensive of the two because you have to pay the newspaper to publish it, and it's about $500, I believe. The other option would be posting, which is essentially just as it sounds as well. The court at the Family Law Division has a cork board usually, or some sort of area where they will actually post the divorce petition up on the wall for everybody to see. And that I believe it will stay up there for 30 days in both cases, and the publication or posting, allowing possibly your spouse will walk by one day and look at the posting on the wall if they're at the courthouse, or if they're reading the newspaper, they'll just glance over and see, oh, look, I'm being divorced by newspaper. So I don't know, but it effectuates service. It's a little bit more complicated. So let's say you can't find your ex-spouse, and we're talking about publication and posting. What are some of the things you need to do in order to satisfy the judge's requirements that you actually try to contact this person? Well, there's always Facebook. You're going to have to say you looked at Facebook and you couldn't find them. You could say you try to reach out to their family members. They don't know where that person is at. You know, that you could do that by reaching out to their family members on Facebook if possible. You could also go to dial 411. I think they'll give you the information. You can go to the post office and ask them if they have any updated information on that individual. You could also call the Department of Corrections here in California and find out if they have an inmate by the name of your spouse. There's different ways to go about it. Or you can go and knock at the last address that they were and see if anyone lives there, if there was a forwarding address provided to them, or maybe a family member is living there. Now, there's different things you can do. A lot of judges don't require you to do all of that, but maybe 3, 4, 5 steps. It really varies from judge to judge, to be honest with you. So you do have to meet the requirements that you did try to serve this person. And so once that requirement is met, you are more than ready at that point to publish your divorce or post it, and that will effectuate service. Again, I think the best thing to do if you know where your ex is to just hire a process server, pay the extra $50, get it served, get it done right, have them prepare the proof of service, and sometimes they'll even file it in court for you, which saves you time and keeps you from making mistakes and allows the process to move more seamlessly. Okay, guys, it's a short video. I'm glad that you guys were able to tune in. If you have any other suggestions, please comment below. If any mistakes in this video, I'm not perfect. I might be an attorney. Sometimes I do make some minor mistakes. So please comment below, subscribe, follow me on Instagram and Facebook, and have a good day.